I can sit down with the album and I can listen to it. I know I'm probably my biggest critic, but I can actually sit down with this album and listen to it and be really proud of it, of everything that we've done and worked on hard, and with the lyrics, with the vocals, with a whole sound as a band. The main thing that I wanted to get this time is the sound. On the last album, we went for that more mainstream sound, but with this, I've definitely come back to my roots. The way we recorded drums, we just placed 3 mic placements up on the drums, like how John Bonham would record for Led Zeppelin, and we just did it, no fuss, just old school. What you hear is what you get with us live, really.
Everything will be alright. We'll do it till the morning light. I've been hurt, I've been troubled, I've been down on my luck. Now you've come into my life, I'm finally getting out of this rut. I know it's hard, but it's the best I can do. Now I'm doing this for you.
It's very soulful in places, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that comes from the producer as well, Gregory, because he's got, he's very soulful guy, and he's got a lot of experience. He's very much into the Stones and the British vibe, and that's where we came in, and we just clicked with him on this record even more so than the last. And I think when your band comes together with the producer and you get the right sound, I think the rest just sort of flows in the studio. What happened is we went over to Curacao in the Caribbean in February, and we spent 3 weeks there in his friend's amazing recording studio underneath the whole of his house. We just literally lived in this home studio for 3 weeks, and we could do what we want. We went down there from like 10 o'clock, and we'd come out at 6 o'clock at night. So we'd be locked in this room all day, working on tunes and working what we've been working on for 2 years, and then the producer would come in and completely change everything that we'd done.
You see, that's how the music business has changed, hasn't it? Led Zeppelin went to an old cottage with no heating in North Wales. You go to the Caribbean.
Yeah, I tell you what, it was very much the same way Led Zeppelin would have done it, and that's why I signed with Top Stop Music and Gregory, because they just believe in the way that they do things in the old school way.
I'm just holding on to what is real, to what I know is right. Looking up to where I go, right out to your shining light. When I feel like I am lost, got no one by my side, I'll turn to you. Everything will be alright. Wipe those tears dry. I hate to see you cry. Love is on my side. Wipe those tears dry. Wipe those tears dry. When I put my arms around you, it's feeling good and right. Take it back to where we were, 'cause there's no need to fight. When I feel like I am lost, got no one by my side.
What was really interesting is we recorded at a real modern studio, the old Sony studios again in Miami. We went there in March, I believe. Yeah, and that was interesting because we'd recorded the last album there, so we got a completely different sound from the same studio, which goes to show, when we had something in mind to go down the more British vibe, and where it was more home for us, it came together easier.
Yeah, no, that's it. It's got my first impression. I never know which way round this is. It's got a tight but loose feel, or is it a loose but tight feel? But I know what I mean, and I'm sure you do as well.
We were so so hard to get what you're on about. Meaning that basically, like, we know our parts, we know what we're doing, but we're still being free within the music. And yeah, we wanted to be a bit loose, to be honest, because if you listen to some of them Stones records, you can hear that, you know, maybe they wasn't playing with a click. You know, that's just a modern thing. You know, now maybe they wasn't, you know, looking for the perfect guitar take, and that's what we were trying to do on this record. We were trying to make the whole track sound as one, rather than being like individual bass, drums, guitar, you know, vocals. We were trying to make it a specific sound, and we really took influence from that 60s feel.
Yeah, the Stones is a really good reference point for the album.
Obviously, Gregory's background as a producer, booking the Rolling Stones and meeting them and putting a free concert on for the people, you know, in Cuba. There's no other better man than him to have produced that album. And we were ready for it as well. We'd already done one album together. It was a nice introduction. We had some amazing reviews from it, and you know, my career's taken off in Holland because of it, and I'm really grateful for that. But I wanted to give something back to the fans on this album that is like, you know, this is Laurence, and this is why I wanted to call it the Laurence Jones Band, because when I first started, when I was 16, you know, it was called the Laurence Jones Band. When I used to go around and play in all the pubs, and I thought, do you know what, we're going to give something back here to the fans. They deserve it with it.
Saw my baby was gone, didn't write me a letter. What did I do wrong? I've been mistreated, I've been cheated. You better believe it, I can't conceive it. I've been mistreated. Man, not a thing like me. We couldn't be so different, like chalk and cheese, being mistreated.
When you put the music first, which I've done this time, and not put your business head first, being right, what track's going to get on radio? What track am I going to get in a magazine? What's going to be like that? When you put the music first, I think that'll carry you more, and that's what I always try and do. But yeah, you can definitely hear that hint of mainstream in there as well. But that's always come from me, because I like writing songs that people can sing to. It's as simple as that, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, that's the core of it all, isn't it?
Exactly, you know, that's what it comes down to. When I'm at a gig and I see, especially when my last album, more than ever, people have been singing the lyrics to our gigs, you know, at concerts to thousands of people and to our own gigs. There's no other feeling like it. And when everyone's in that room together, I don't think about, the blues scene. I don't think about where I've come from or the genre I'm doing. I'm just thinking about everyone coming together and just enjoying the music and forgetting all their worries for one night. And to be honest, that's why I do what I do.
Show me the sign. Show me the way. Show me the love. Now it'll bring a day. 'Cause I
Young Artist of the Year several years, I believe, and even now in the press releases and things I see, they push this, rising star. Um, Lawrence is the future of the blues. This kind of thing. Where is the point when? Because you've done what, 6 or 7 albums now, haven't you, in total? Where's the point where you sort of feel that you've grown up and you're not being sort of labelled with that, kid in the making, new kid on the block, rising star, all that kind of thing. When do you feel comfortable with saying, no, I've gone beyond that now and I'm established in the scene and within the music industry?
When I grow out my nice little baby face.
You mean when you grew a beard?
To be honest with you, I can't seem to, I've had a lot of late rock and roll nights, and I just can't seem to shake off these young bucks, If people are crediting me as the future of the blues, then that's an absolute honour, and I'll take that as long as I can, even when I'm old and wrinkly, because I go through a lot of hard work and determination to play the blues music and to play the music that is not in the mainstream chart. Maybe people are seeing me as an up-and-coming artist now because they're hearing about me for the first time as well, which that doesn't mean to say that I've just started. It just means to say that I'm crossing over now, and I'm more than happy for people to label me at that, because I love the blues, and I've learned and played with some of my heroes like Buddy Guy, Van Morrison, some Status Quo, some big names, and supported Joe Bonamassa, and so to be labelled as the future of the blues, I think is a great thing, because at the end of the day, there's not that many people crossing over and doing it. There's a lot of young guitar players, but ones that's actually making a noise out there and getting on main radio. You've got your Gary Clark Jr., you've got your Joe Bonamassa, and the more people we can get creating a buzz for the blues music, the better. That's where a lot of people go wrong. It's not a competition. It should be a community like it used to be.
I'm waiting for a better time. I'm waiting, someday you'll be on mine. I'm waiting, waiting another day for you.
Apart from Buddy, who were your other primary influences? And you're not allowed to mention Stevie Ray Vaughan, because everybody I interview says Stevie Ray Vaughan. He's off limits now, great though he was.
Eric Clapton.
Okay, yeah.
And Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin were Tony McPhee from the Groundhogs. I'd say they were the four main bands that I listened to growing up, and then just looking back from Eric Clapton, I saw where he got it from. Robert Johnson, Big Bill Broomsby, and I went back and learned all the old acoustic blues stuff because I was classically trained. And that was fun, learning that and learning where it come from, and reading Eric's autobiography and looking how the Rolling Stones progressed it, because back in the day the Rolling Stones were seen as a young pop band, and they were like, no, this is where we're getting it from. We're getting it from these black blues guys from America, and they encouraged people. And they invited them on their gigs and encouraged people that, look, these guys started, this is where it's coming from, and that's what's lacking in today's business. There, not enough people credit where it's due, and I think that there's not many old true blues musicians left. You know, that they're dying off, unfortunately, and I'd say Buddy Guy is one of the last remaining ones. So to jam with him is an absolute honour. But I definitely want to jam with Eric Clapton before anything happens, or one day. That is my ultimate dream. I think the way that blues has gone, in the progression of it, where Joe Bonamassa's taken it and Gary Clark, I think it's opened up massively for people like myself and other people to come in and carry the torch, as it was. That's what I do. I do it because I love it. That's the only thing.